Hi, my name is Caryn, and I'm part of the Humane Education team here at Pope Memorial Humane Society in Dover, New Hampshire. And I have a few friends to help me out with today's presentation. We are going to be listening to a story about a mama cat and her kittens and how some very kind humans stepped in to help them out and how they were able to get all of the things that they needed to be happy and healthy. And as we listen to this story, I want you to think about what are the things that you need to be happy and healthy, and how are those things the same as what our kitty and her kittens needed. So our story and presentation board was created by some of our volunteers and staff here at the animal shelter, Terry Hickman, Mary Goyette, and Jane Kennedy. It was March, and there was a bitter, stinging cold wind blowing on this night. I have a helper here. So we were dealing with some really bad weather. It was the kind of cold which made you just want to snuggle deep under your blanket and covers. For one stray mama cat, the night was going to be a long one. She was pregnant, and the time had come for this mama cat to have her kittens. She saw a dirty old garage down the street, and as she entered, the air was stale and heavy with a very awful smell. She was weary, however, and her tummy was starting to throb and ache with pain. She slowly sank into a corner in the back of the garage when suddenly there was a hiss. Mama jumped to her feet, and there in the shadows, she could barely make out the shape of a particularly large tomcat. "This is my home," he snarled. "Now leave." Slowly, Mama got up. Being exhausted and aching, she didn't want to fight, so she slowly walked away. When she got outside, the wind was blowing harder now, and it was starting to rain. Her strength was starting to fade, and she was getting very weak and very tired, but she needed someplace safe to have her babies. She saw a back alley. As she started down into the alley, she met two boys. Upon seeing her, the boys started chasing her, throwing anything they could find at her. If Mama was going to survive, she had to run as fast as she could, so the boys couldn't catch her. Narrowly escaping being caught by the boys, she ran until she finally couldn't see them anymore. Once she stopped running, she realized what strength she had was now gone, and she didn't have energy left, and she could feel her babies were going to come anytime. Exhausted Mama could see an open window into an old abandoned building across the street. With every ounce of energy she could find, Mama made a dash for that window. Once inside, there was nobody there to chase her, and she saw a dirty pile of rags nearby. With no strength left and feeling totally exhausted, she used the pile of rags as a bed. It was cold, and the only warmth she felt was her own breath. Among the dusty old machinery, which had been silent for years, the empty cartons, and the puddling rain coming through the leaks in the roof, Mama gave birth to her 5 precious kittens. So now, Mama's still trying to find shelter from that weather, and she has 5 kittens to take care of as well. The basement of the old building became Mama's new home. The rundown building was safe for now. A cat living on the streets trying to survive on its own is very hard. Mama had to leave her kittens unprotected for hours every day to go look for food. Sometimes she was lucky and found scraps in trash cans, but most days she didn't find much at all. Sometimes she wouldn't return to her kittens for a day or two while she searched for food. She was doing her best to find what little food she could, but her kittens were starting to grow, and they were always meowing because they felt their bellies weren't full. Mama was growing weaker from what little nutrition she was getting from the food she found, and that was being passed on to her kittens when she fed them. Then one day, as the sun rose in the sky, Mama Kitty could hear children playing ball outside. Marcus, the oldest boy, brought the ball so he and his sisters, Marcy and Micah, could play catch and kickball. Caroline, his youngest sister, watched and laughed. Suddenly, when the ball was kicked, it popped up high through the open window in the building where Mama Kitty and her kittens lived. The children all ran inside through the building to hunt for the ball. While looking for their ball, they suddenly heard the cry of those very hungry kittens. "How sad," said Caroline. "We have to get help." So they ran home to tell their mom, who called the animal control officer. Soon the friendly animal control officer came to help stray Mama and her kittens. Mama and the kittens were taken to the animal shelter. So this is a very important part of our story because now Mama and her kittens are safe in the animal shelter and they can escape that rainy, cold weather. Mama Cat needed lots of care, so the kind animal care people, Ashley and Sandra, gave her food and water to help her feel better. So now our mama and babies have a shelter from the weather, they have water, and they have food. So these are some of the things that are really important for cats, dogs, and people to be happy and healthy. The veterinarian, Dr. Sue, made sure Mama got the medicine she needed. The kittens were given special milk to fill their bellies and a bath to get rid of fleas and clean their fur. Mama Cat was soon back to feeding her babies all by herself. The medicine she was given had made her stronger. The kittens were young and they needed time to grow. After 8 weeks old, they were all ready for adoptions into their new families, like some of our cats here in the room. Soon they had lots of kind people coming to the shelter who wanted to adopt the kittens into their own families. Mama Cat was the last to leave the shelter. She was 2 years old and she wanted so much to be loved by somebody and to have a home again. Mama finally went home with a nice older lady who fell in love with her the moment she saw her. Mama was given her own special name tag with her new name, Lydia, to wear on her new collar. Each of the kittens and Mama went to homes where they would always have good food and never be hungry again. And their new families promised to keep them inside their homes so they would always be safe and loved and never be afraid again. So at the end of our happy story, Mama Kitty and her 5 kittens each have their very own home with families that will provide food and water, lots of love, which is very important when you bring a pet into your home. And I'm sure if you have an animal at home, you can think of a lot of other ways that you can take care of them. So Mama Kitty and her kittens, I'm sure, were provided with a nice brush and some baths to keep them clean and healthy. Maybe they slept in bed with their families, or maybe they had their own comfy beds of their own. And this is probably something that's enjoyable for the humans in the family just as much as the animals, and that is exercise. So one of the best things about owning a pet is all those fun toys that you can use to play with them. And as we look at this board and all of the things that our cats needed to find love, happiness, and health, a lot of it looks pretty familiar, and it should look familiar to you too, because you have a home to keep you warm and safe. I'm sure you have toys that you like to play with. You have a family to provide love. You're provided with food and water. Bath time might not be the favorite, but it's something we all need. And a nice warm bed to sleep in. And if you ever find that you are in need of help with any of these things for your pets or for yourself, we want you to know that here at Pope Memorial Humane Society, we provide lots of love and kindness, so we are a safe space for you to bring your questions and concerns to. I hope you all enjoyed the presentation and have a wonderful day.